Yesterday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had a performance review from Republicans and Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and things got a little heated. Take a look.
What we've seen is a disaster. Under your leadership, Ms. Noem, I read your book last week. A 14-month-old dog is basically a teenager in dog years. You decided to kill that dog because you had not invested the appropriate time in training, and then you have the audacity to go into a book and say it's a leadership lesson about tough choices. My point is, those are bad decisions made in the heat of the moment. Not unlike what happened up in Minneapolis.
I just asked if you had anything you wanted to say to the parents or to the family of Renee Good after you called them domestic terrorists.
I can't even imagine what they have gone through in the loss of their son and the loss of their family members.
But how about specifically calling them domestic terrorists without any evidence of that?
Sir, ma'am, I did not call him a domestic terrorist. I said it appeared to be an incident of.
I think the parents saw it for what it was.
And in human fashion, many were quick to rewind to what she said in the days following the death of Alex Peretti. Take a look.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. This individual who came with weapons and ammunition to stop a law enforcement operation of federal law enforcement officers committed an act of domestic terrorism. That's the facts.
So some senators said she's failing in her leadership role on immigration enforcement. Do you think a lot of Americans feel that way?
First of all, the book came out in 2004. So he read the book, and he went along with whatever she was pulling out. Now they're mad, the Republicans are mad, because they see the error of their ways in their face.
I don't think we're mad.
And so that's why, well, he didn't look like he was thrilled with her. And it's good to see Republicans going after her, to tell you the truth. No one likes her, not even the ASPCA, let's face it.
Sure. Listen, I love dogs. I love people. I think all lives matter to God. And we're in uncommon times, so we need to have uncommon sense about things like this. Yes, there will be mistakes made, but I think if Kristi Noem were up for promotion right now and she put forward the statistics that 0 illegals released into the U.S. for 10 months straight have not crossed, okay? That nearly 3 million aliens have left the United States, that we have the lowest murder rate in 125 years, that fentanyl trafficking is down 56% at the border, and daily encounters have gone down 96%. Hang on one second. We need a strong border, especially now with our current global situation. And I believe that you may say you don't want border control and you're against ICE, but I actually don't believe you in your daily lives. How many people in the audience here had to go through security to get here? Raise your hand, just be honest. Otherwise you go to jail, I guess, for illegal trespassing, right? This is an authorized audience. They had to go through security to get through the border, to get right here to just hear us talk. We need strong borders more than ever right now. We are being infiltrated.
But Elizabeth, can I give you a
on the border when Renee Good and Alex Peretti were murdered, and death is not a mistake. That was a murder. No,
that was a murder.
Now let me finish.
As were those killed by illegal immigrants.
Let's not be dismissive about the fact.
I'm not dismissive. I just said all their lives matter.
That Secretary Noem is wholly unqualified for her job. She has zero empathy. She is not taking responsibility for what she did, and
she just did. You just heard her say.
She did not take responsibility for what she did. That is not true. That is not true.
She had compassion right there.
She denied that she called them domestic terrorists. And on top of it, let me say that she should be impeached. She should lose her job. There is precedent for it. Remember that the House of
Can I give you a stat?
Remember when the House of Representatives impeached Alejandro Mayorkas on February 13th, 2024. So there is precedent, and she's got to go.
She's operating on congressional approval. She's operating on congressional approval. These are mistakes, and those lives do matter.
I just want to give you this one statistic from the Cato Institute. Only 5% of people detained by ICE have violent convictions. 73% have no convictions.
Correct.
That's really what the problem is.
Joy. 450,000 children and families were trafficked under Joe Biden, letting them under. We have now reunited 146,000 children to their rightful family.
What I wanted to bring in here
These are not facts here.
is that, Elizabeth, even just pushing back on what you're saying, I think the biggest thing Kristi Noem has done is taken a very fair issue that's bipartisan, immigration and fixing the system, and she has trashed the impression, the actual act of it. 25% disapproved of ICE in 2024. Now 60%
because of the media.
No,
because of the media.
No.
Because of
but
this
Elizabeth.
Murder.
No. What I would say is, as a woman, and you should be able to relate to this point, a man comes at me with a mask and a gun. I am taught instinctively to fight or flight. Like if someone knocks on my door in the middle of the night. So the way it's been carried out is the problematic part. People voted him in for immigration, and that was fair. And it had a lot of regular independents like me saying, you're right, we can't have everyone crossing the border. You're right, people that are violent criminals should leave, but that's not what he did here. And he's got people despising that.
I understand, and as a woman, I understand. I understand. I also believe that we have a God of borders. We have a nation of borders for good reason. I hate the fact that people are dying in this. My heart actually bleeds for this. It also bleeds for Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungare, Rachel Moran, Matthew Dennis, Sarah Ruitt, Ivory Smith, all killed at the hands of illegal immigration. This needs a fix, but it needs a fix now. And let me tell you, this is tactical, practical. Yes, the how matters. Yes, it was done without a how during the Biden administration and Obama.
Okay, here's the thing.
She's made it worse.
She has actually solved the problem in the
and
past year
Biden
with
out
some
of here
mistakes.
because this is. Let's move that. Because Joe Biden, I remember during the speech to the nation, said, we have a good border plan that is bipartisan.
Yeah.
It failed.
No, it didn't fail. The Republicans were told by who,
To block
don't
it.
do this.
To block it.
this. So that's the first thing. But more than anything, nobody wants anyone murdered. I was going to say that one of the things that I think everybody in the nation wants is they want tight borders. They want people who are not good for the country out of the country. Yeah. But if you go in and you say that's what you're going to do, and suddenly you're sweeping up 5-year-olds and people, I will say in the vaguest form, folks that I work with outside of here have stopped going out to church. They have stopped taking their kids to school because they're nervous, and that is not what this should be about. People who come here, I'm talking this fast because I know you have stuff to say, but people who pay taxes, because just because you haven't become a citizen doesn't mean you're not paying taxes.
Actually, most undocumented immigrants pay more taxes than anyone, and we should also mention that they're 5 times less likely to commit crimes than Americans. American citizens.
So I guess my point is, there have been efforts made by both sides to figure out how to do this. This is not the way. To round people up the way that they do. And you're right. If somebody come at me with a mask on, run and talk about, hey, and didn't show me they were
this is the party of masks. You guys force masks on everybody in the United States. I don't want to hear you can't see my face, and I just can't. I can't. I love you, but I can't. I love you, but I can't.
I know that you can't, but I
think a little bit different.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about people walking down the street with their kids on the way to school, getting rubbed over, not
fair.
rubbed
Yeah,
over.
fair. I think that's fair.
Even a
I think
bigger
it's
point
fair.
here, though,
That's
is
what my
number
point
one
is.
thing you hear from immigrants that live in this country. Immigrants are very critical of immigration because there are a lot of people that followed all the difficult steps to become a citizen, and they don't want people skipping the line.
Correct.
You cannot have ICE waiting outside courtrooms when people report following the rules
Fair enough.
for their things.
I actually think, and the human side of me, listen, I told you, my heart aches. I do think we can extend the department to also monitor and weed out criminals who are coming in here to infiltrate versus those that are coming here with hope to elevate their lives to a place that we just happen to be born here with.
You know that the majority of fentanyl
that.
brought into this country is by American citizens at actual ports of entry?
This administration is succeeding at the border.
Immigrants.
This administration is succeeding at the border right now. They will make mistakes, but overall it is a
I'm glad they're
success.
succeeding, but they are not succeeding with the American people, and that's the problem.